Howdy, it's Matt. Now, I've been and set up the AR stealth wing and I've fixed the issues. We've got carbon fibre underneath there now and we've put plenty of ventilation in the lid and also in the bottom too, as we saw in a previous video, and kind of iNav kind of fell in there as well while I was at it. So we got 40 amp ESC, that was upgraded from the 30, a nice big Tory coil on the ESC wire. We got the GPS on one wing, video transmitter over there, little Runcam Mini, and we're going to stick the GoPro in the nose, run it on 4S, and we're going to find out how fast this thing really does go. Also note, up underneath I have been and put, turn it around that way, we've got the receiver up underneath the wing as well, another exit hole for some air, yeah, with that said, hold on to your seats and kiss your ass goodbye. Oh, you got a speed gun. Good lad. Let's go for it.
Oh, he's landed.
Landed!
Right. Engines are.
Howdy, it's Matt. Now, I did feel that I wanted to add some extra depth to this flight itself. So, over on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the on-screen display, which I could see while we were flying our FPV. And of course, we got the GoPro running around the outside as well. Now, this is about the AR stealth wing, and I've got it next to me. And it is actually, once we've been and fixed the two major issues, I'm sure you've already seen the unboxing video and then the follow-up with the full review where we found actually 11 or so things which I could pick fault with this actual model itself. Now the thing is to note is that once we fixed the two major ones, which is the first thing, which was the cooling in the actual model itself, because in fact I've overdone it, we'll get to that in a moment, and the other one was the flex in the wingtips. These wingtips do not flex at all now with some extra carbon fibre strip in there. This model desperately needed it, and by the way, this model is exactly the same as the ready-made RC Recruit, except for they've been included a stabiliser in theirs. I have gone on and put iNav in here. I am actually wondering to myself that am I going to keep iNav in this model, considering that I've got other models which would be better off with iNav in them, in short. So I actually do feel that I might actually take iNav out on this one and then just turn it into a straightforward sport wing for smashing into trees, basically in and around trees, and just having fun with it. I don't feel it really needs iNav. I don't feel it really needs a stabilizer at all. That said, I'm very pro stabilizers. I think all models, and I absolutely condone the stabilizers being included in a wing like this. I think it's a great idea, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it necessarily needs it. And again, I've set this one up for medium range FPV. Again, depending on how much battery you stuff in this, you could fly for however long you want, you know, how big's the battery you're going to stick in it. But coming back to my point, I fixed the wingtips. They're not flexing as much as what they did, as what they were. It is basically made it a lot nicer to fly. Give you a heads up, I did a massive dive on it, and I mean like an epic dive on it. There's a video in the Facebook group for it, and it must have been doing 150 miles an hour, if not more, and there was no bad traits in it at all. Again, since we've been and put the carbon fibre in the wingtips. The other thing, which is that I've got to put my hands up, I kind of over-engineered it, and I've been and put too much ventilation in the lid. That scoop is just far too big, and frankly, something half the size would have been more appropriate. It's too late. I've already been and done it on this one now. That said, the ESC, even flying it around on full pelt consistently, and again, you can see in the video footage in the background, we did get this model clocked in at over 100 miles an hour, which was happy days. Just to prove the point, it will do a ton with the setup which I've got here. And actually, one thing to note is that since the setup with the conversion to iNav and a different ESC, is that it's not as running as fast as what it was before. On the 30 amp ESC, with the same proper motor and same battery, it was flying faster and everybody else commented on the day when we were flying it, is that it was faster in the previous setup. So I think the combination of the ESC and the big ass air scoop on the nose has been and taken a top speed off, in short. That said, if I was going to go on and continue to fly this one, it's for like medium range FPV or just cruising around, then I'd keep the scoop on there. But to be frankly honest, I'm going to trim that down, put a different one in the lid, maybe knock it down a touch, in short. So yeah, I wanted to give you that follow-up. This model will do a ton in this setup easily. It was faster with the previous setup with the 30 amp ESC. Don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's the big ass air scoop on the top. But this model does need ventilation in it. So don't just rely on that tiny little token air vent which they had on the top. Do get some air in there, and do allow to get some air to escape from this model as well. Even flying, again, you saw how hard I was flying this model. The ESC came down stone cold afterwards, which is fantastic to see, because before it nearly burnt my fingers off because it was so hot it melted itself off the side. So the cooling definitely has had a positive effect to it. Maybe, and I'm just there looking at it, maybe I put too much ventilation in it. Hey ho, you live and learn, don't you? So anyway, go on and enjoy the rest of this flight. Do look out for the fast speed run, which is near the end. And yeah, we do clock a ton in the end. So for myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll let you go back and enjoy the rest of this flight, and we'll have some thoughts from the flight line at the end of this video as well. So for myself, Matt, cheerios. Yeah, you can stick a Neil camera in the front as well. Right, we were just chatting about that, weren't we? And it's not as fast as what it was the other day,
Definitely
is it?
not, no. Definitely not as fast.
Definitely, yeah, definitely not as fast. But we still did a ton. We got a recorded ton with a dive, I hasten to add, but it's not as fast. And that ESC is stone cold in there. Just been out and checked that, and because of the extra cooling in there, so that's obviously having some form of drag on it. But last time I couldn't even touch the ESC, and I know that we've gone up by 10 amps, but even still we were caning it pretty hard, and it's done all right. It's done all right. And somebody might ask me about that USB charger. That was just to get the nose weight. We need to give it back to Andrew in a minute. But yeah, that appears to have solved. Is it? There wasn't waggling either.
No.
We had when we were flying the other day, when we did a maid on it, it was doing that on us and shaking it full knacker. There was no signs of that at all, which is happy days. And we stuck iNav in it as well, so that's even better.
You didn't, it fell in.
Yeah, it fell in, didn't it?
Fell in off the shelf.
Yeah. So for myself, Matt,
And
Austin, and the AR Stealth Wing, finally sorted. Happy days. Cheerios.